you like something here?
Yeah.
You don't have a sign on your farm?
I think there is a problem.
So do you have any food in the house that you're making unicham?
No. So have you had your breakfast? Something to eat in the morning?
No.
Last time? For supper?
No. All lunch only.
You had lunch?
Yeah.
What did you eat?
Cabbages.
And what?
Only.
Pilot Light works in Africa with people living in extreme poverty to help them become financially self-sufficient. All of the people that we're working with are living in extreme poverty.
We work with the partners who have capacity to do the implementation and who have already started, but who lack some funding. We see the reality of the proposal, and then based on the funding available, we work together with them.
What is it they believe would be a project that would be meaningful and useful to them, what they believe they can accomplish, and how it can be done. And then we help them execute those ideas.
This has created impact in Uganda, in Rwanda, for different projects we are doing. Uganda also is known by its former president in the 70s, Idi Amin Dada, who were known for the atrocities and also the dictatorship of leading Uganda. Uganda experienced the Lord Resistance Army of Kony that had the northern Uganda population moved away and a big number of people there killed.
In the camp here, we have population of people who are staying in the camp, included children. It's 11,643. This rebel came and attacked the place. In the camp here, we have government soldiers who are protecting the people who are in the camp, but the number were few. When they defeated the soldiers, they ran through the camp because the camp was on that side you are seeing. They start killing the civilians who are in the camp by shooting them with a gun and cutting them with a panga, other beaten with the stick up to death. Some other people have been burned inside their houses. On that day, we count physically the dead body. We get 301 at that time. Because there are some other people who have been abducted. Up to now, they did not come back here. So we are missing with 580 in the camp out of that 11,643.
This is sad.
Yeah.
But we can start all over again and succeed in life.
The issues we are solving are really huge. Pilot Lights is actually a small foundation, but we did not fear the issues and avoid to venture with our partners.
We always say there's no formula for the work that we do, that we have a general formula, but we tweak it for each project depending on the needs of that particular group. As in all of our projects, we work in the revolving funds to help grow and sustain their businesses without the need to keep asking for further funding. Right now we have 7 projects that are in different stages. Some we've been working on for 5 years or less, and others as little as just under a year. And we also have 2 brand new projects that are still in the development phase. The honey project in northern Uganda is just ending its first year.
This is an organization supporting children who were in captivity of Lord Resistance Army of Kony.
So this can mean child soldiers, it can mean soldier wives, which are really girls who were kidnapped and forced into sex slavery, as well as the children born of these girls, children orphaned by the LRA, or even in our project we have some adults who were kidnapped by the LRA and traumatized significantly, who suffer from PTSD or mental illness as a result of that. You have a teenager who is the head of a household and can have many siblings. One of the kids that we visited is a young man named Charles who is taking care of 4 younger brothers. Both of his parents were kidnapped by the Lord's Resistance Army, and they were so heavily traumatized that upon being rescued or escaping, the mother took off and disappeared, and the father is too mentally ill to be able to take care of anybody. So these guys are just left on their own. Charles and his brothers some days have nothing more than cabbage to eat.
The children have been left alone. They've been fending for themselves alone. And today when we visited them, they have not had any meal since morning. They have no food.
We are supporting them to improve the livings in their homes through the beekeeping program.
So that they're able to begin generating income. So once the honey is harvested, it's supposed to be sold, and it will be able to give them some income in their households to help take care of the really basic needs. Honestly, they've done great work. They are only children, but you can see what they have done.
We supported them with the improved beehives and trainings. This program will help more than 50 families in the northern Uganda.
Although the hives are up and colonizing at the moment, they are not yet bringing in income from the sale of honey, and that will take some more months before that starts to happen. So in the meantime, we realize that we have to have this emergency fund to provide necessities like food in the meantime for these households.
The relationship between pilot lights and partners is very important. We have experience of big organizations serving the whole country, and at the end of the day, the results are not really visible. So for us, we want to start with a partner and start small and grow bigger. Across all the projects we have, that has created impacts. For example, communication. We communicate with our partners through phone calls, Skype, all the time when there is a question. But if we're big organization, we will go through letters, through authorization. So there is that quick contact.
The Rice Farmers Cooperative and the Coffee Farmer Cooperative are large groups of farmers that were already working, growing those crops, but they were unable to make a decent living because they didn't have the capacity to store after harvest or to process the harvested products.
This partnership, dear visitors, is the best thing to happen to this community. The project provides these farmers an entry point to an international buyers and aims to help further national economic development. As part of the program, farmers receive basic training on skills in organic farming, on how to grow and harvest high quality coffee and export their coffee to the international market.
So what we've done with both of these groups is we've formed them into cooperative and also built processing plants for them so that they can then process and store their crops, and they can sell them in bulk and cut out the middlemen altogether.
Here is a coffee garden of one of our members, and when you look around, this is the size of the first coffee we gave out.
Farmers are focusing on coffee because they are not trusting what? Banana. It is just rotting and you cannot eat it. So farmers, they are trying to focus on coffee as they continue with food crop.
It's now her task and her obligation also to help other women, especially those who are still down there getting small incomes, because she admits that for her she has already kind of taken off because of the knowledge she has gotten from Kekofa, and then she says that it will also help these other ladies to copy her, to learn from her, to adapt what she's using, the methods and everything, so that they also get to where she is. Before she joined Kekofa, she was really getting low income compared to what she's getting today. She says before she was getting 2 or 3 bags, but now she's talking of 6 bags. And yet she says that when you look at this coffee, it is just yielding, it is in its first phases of giving out the fruits. So she says she's expecting much more than what she's getting currently.
This project started last year, 2014, and the progress is good. We expect to have more than 1,000 farmers benefiting from this program.
With growth expected to reach above 5% in this year, the continent is now home to 6 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world.
We're encouraging them to purchase and grow, improve seeds so that we can hopefully in the future connect them with fair trade.
These farmers, before they bring their rice here, they are facilitated to grow the rice in their gardens. They buy the right seed, they get farm implements, they get what to use to grow the rice. Then at the end of the day, they bring it here, we process it, the value is added to get a better price for the farmers.
They used to sell less than even $1 per kilo of unprocessed coffee. We have indication that they have raised the income per kilo even 3 times. So this shows how the income of our beneficiaries in the near future is going to increase through the combined efforts.
It's very important to us to have meaningful and trusting relationships with our beneficiaries as well as our local grassroots partners.
Because you are very sure the funds you are giving, they are in the hands of people you trust, and also they trust you.
In fact, that's the philosophy behind everything that we do. I have this tattoo that's a West African symbol from Ghana, and it means help me and let me help you. So it's an interdependence, and that can be an interdependence in personal relationships or in this kind of work that we do.
We have many children that were left behind many years ago. Children that had deformities, children that could even get wheelchairs. A parent we had, they gave birth to a child. The child just had clam foot, and then at night they buried that child. They killed it and buried it. There was some kind of movements at night, so the neighbors picked interest in what is happening. So they saw a child crying, and then they reported to police. The police came in the morning and removed the soil, and then they brought the body out.
At first, the life was very, very dangerous. We work and make our body sweat so that we can get that money. The life is promising, especially people with disability, because we are reducing labor discrimination among people with disability in the community.
We selected mushroom, vegetable growing, because it's in Kampala and the market is huge. We are also supporting them to produce candles.
It's a really inspirational group when you visit them. This project is moving along much quicker than I expected it to. The mushroom farmers group that's part of this project is mostly parents or caretakers of children who are disabled.
Because they are the primary players of attitude and support in families.
It's really exciting to see how they've really taken hold of the technology. They're working so hard, and there's already more of a demand than they can supply, so they're working now on expanding their space and being able to supply more mushrooms than they've already been able to do in the past.
We can't address everything, but at least we begin. And what is making me happy is that when we are doing this work, we agree that we involve the local government people so that they can see. Maybe when there's an opportunity, which the opportunity are always there, they can access even these government programs, they can be involved in them. So we are acting as a role model, we are showing government, we call it case, we show case that things can happen, that people with disabilities can do something, the youth can do something, the parents are very active.
We believe that working from the bottom up is more effective than working from the top down. This means visiting them where they live. And most often, we're the only organization that has ever visited where they live. And they tell us this all the time. So they trust us because they know our faces, they know who we are. They know who our local partners are. They know who my colleague who's Rwandan, Delphin, is because he visits them more often than I do. And they recognize me if they stay with our program for more than a year because I come back annually. It's a personal relationship. They know that we mean what we say and we're going to deliver what we tell them we're going to deliver. By visiting people in their homes and getting to know their specific situations and their personal problems, it allows us to really have a true understanding of what it is that they need, more than just funding for their project and what they're going through. The Batwa project is more comprehensive than the other projects that we do. The Batwa were living in such marginalized conditions that it would be impossible to achieve the sustainable income generation that we aim to achieve in this particular situation. Even by the standards of the groups living around them, they are considered to be living in absolute extreme poverty.
Normally, they were living in the natural forest. They were living on getting fruits from the forest, getting some animals, just living off the meat. So they were chased from the forest because the government of Uganda was establishing the national parks for the tourism activities.
In 1992, the governments of Uganda forced the Batwa to leave the forests because they were developing national parks. The mountain gorillas live in those forests where the Batwa were living. Unfortunately, there was no balance between the wildlife and the people were just forced to leave with really no compensation. We've been working with the Batwa going on 5 years now. So that started off as a safe housing project, teaching farming techniques and supplying them with seeds and farming tools.
They were supported with Irish potato seed and they've been able to plant it as a group, and when it's ready they will sell some and then keep some for eating, and then the other seed will be stored to become seed for the next season. They've also been encouraged to plant other food crops like vegetables, like cabbages over there like you see, so that they can have better nutrition, so that their children do not fall sick. They can have a balanced diet so that they can grow healthy, and maybe this can also help in reducing the disease and also the mortality rate, especially for the children.
Batwa are really spectacular performers. They're amazing singers and dancers. They're the best I've seen in sub-Saharan Africa. We're trying to connect them to the local tour organizations as well as the local government, because the tour buses do come through there on their way to see the gorillas and the chimpanzees. It would be great to have a centralized place where these buses can stop and they can pay to see the Batwa perform and buy some of their crafts and learn about their history. And then the money would go into a fund that is managed by a committee of Batwa. A portion of the fund would be used to pay the performers, but the significant portion of the fund would be used for community development projects.
Rwanda is known by its big number of population. It has around 500 people per square kilometer. Rwanda is also unfortunately known for the genocide, where almost 1 million people were killed in a period of 100 days.
The issues are huge, and it would be impossible for Pilot Light alone, or one person, to make all of those changes. But together with local partners and local governments and larger governments, changes can be made and the results are tangible. All you can do is start in one spot and keep growing and keep moving forward. Another project we're working on is the Marama Pig and Rabbit Cooperative. We've been working with them for 4 years now, and it started off as just a pig farm. It's done very well, and they've gone from having 1 male and 15 female pigs to having over 120 pigs now. We decided that we would add to that project a rabbit farm.
The rabbits was more of nutrition purpose for some of the members. We realized that a good number of of kids were suffering from malnutrition.
It's not that there isn't enough food, it's that there isn't enough protein, and this is particularly a problem for children in the development of their brains and their bodies. We're just now in the beginning stages of the rabbit farm, and the nutritional program is back in place. That project also has a very productive and successful revolving fund.
Those we started with through microloans, through the piggery program, they have started selling some of their pigs. And now, even the farm can sustain itself somehow.
Oh, she has a husband, but they don't live together. Comes once in a while, and the fact that she's here, she gets little from him, but it's not on a daily basis. It either comes or takes like a month without coming, but she still moves on.
She saves with the center in their revolving fund, and out of the savings, she managed to get a loan, and out of the loan, she put it in what she's selling, adding value to her business. The small profit she got, she decided to buy these chairs.
You know, you have to really take into consideration that each individual beneficiary has their own individual set of issues and work within that. The Mother and Child Development Center is located in Kigali, Rwanda. The women that we're working with there used to work in the marketplace. Our initial project was just increasing their businesses and helping them consolidate the transportation of their products from the countryside to the city. It's since increased with our partnership with the Mother and Child Development Center.
What they have been doing was a kind of daycare program for vulnerable families, but also they were having some trainings of women. So we realized we have something in common, and we work together.
Many of the people that we work with have had a lack of education because either the availability for the fees necessary for education.
MCDC is not going to sustain them. We have given them the skills, so they have to make a product out of the skills that we give them.
We now have vocational training for catering as well as hairdressing and manicuring. They're provided with daycare for their children so that their children are safe and actually learning while they're in these training programs or working in the marketplace.
There are some good achievements that we have achieved through our directors who has managed to help the mothers up so that also we be with the children here. They know these children, they are in the right hands. They know the children, they are learning. They know the children, they are improving on the moral education.
So grateful that she leaves the kids at the center and then goes ahead with the salon so that she can manage to live a life, sustain her life with the skill that she got.
They do it with one heart, they do it with their love, they do it with the desire of working. Really, they have achieved.
In June of 2015, they opened a bakery, a for-profit business. It's being used as a location for the vocational training for catering, as well as an income-generating business for the women who are full-time employees there who are graduates of our program, as well as a portion of the funds will be used to maintain the sustainability of the whole project so they won't have to keep asking for grants as well.
Pilot lights interventions are really creating impacts on the ground.
Americans would be pleased and shocked if they really understood how far a dollar can go in Africa. The biggest thing that Americans can do to help make changes is to make donations. Advocacy, you can sign petitions, you can be part of movements to make changes or to influence our government to put funding in different places. Talk about it, and people can't care about things that they don't know about. For me, the most important reason Americans should care about Africa is simple. It's just the kinship with humanity. It's just humane when there's people suffering in extreme poverty to want to make a difference.
I believe and I know that if all of us came together, the people who are here, the people who are listening us, the people who are seeing us, we will be able to turn this situation around for good. Yes.